Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to, where are we? We are heading into Tobago. I'm just waiting for this fun stuff to pop up here. Tabex is top of descent, as you can see. We're there in 1 minute and 13 seconds. I got 2300 dialed in, which is the intermediate fix on the approach right here at Tabex. So maybe I have to start this descent first. I think that's what I have to do. And then we can have a look at our approach and start getting that ready. So what I'm going to do is hit vertical speed mode, nose down, and we start going downhill, literally. Let's see here, what's the, I get my info here for the approach. Why are we turning that way? At least we can hit VNAV now and go to VNAV path mode. And it wants flight level 3000, so I'll put flight level 3000. Alright, so I don't know why it turned right there for a second, but I don't know a lot of things. So let's have a look at our weather here. Performance. Approach. No. Destination. Cruise, yeah. Okay, here we go. Now, transition levels 5,500 feet, which is even weirder. I know I've gone on and on about this. It's even weirder at 1011 to have a transition level that isn't even like an even number, 1208. It doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, so I'll put that away for now. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, whoopsie, we gotta keep an eye on our speed here. Alright, descent checklist, landing elevation is good, nav performance is good. Decision height is, what is our decision height? 340, so let's go down and take care of that. And we click that and it'll stop flashing, so that's good. Arrival briefing. Are you guys ready to do an arrival briefing? I am. Alright, it's an RNAV approach, so we don't have to tune any radios. Final approach course 109, it's running runway 11. Glide slope intercept is no-tail at 1700. Decision altitude is 340 feet in the LNAV VNAV. Airport elevation is 40 feet. This approach climbing right turn on a track, or climb to 1000 on a track of 109, then climbing right turn to 3000 direct ERDID, which is another initial approach fix. And what kind of holding pattern entry would we do here at ERDID? We would do, first of all, it's a non-standard holding pattern. It's left-hand turns. So this would be a teardrop in my book, ladies and germs. And so this would be because it's non-standard left-hand turns, it would be outbound plus 30. So add a degree there, make it 200, so 230 on the outbound heading for, let's see, Okay, there's no time, or there's no indication of a distance or anything on there. So therefore, it is this timed holding pattern rather. 2 minutes. Come around inbound the 019. All right, and I realized yesterday. So I flew an approach yesterday into Grenada, and I flew it poorly. I really did, and I'm actually, you know, it's just sloppiness. I'm actually kind of embarrassed about it. You know, I got to a point where I was, oh, look at this. What is this over here? What is this, he says. Talk about situational awareness, right? What is this, though? Oh, that's Tobago. That's my destination. How about that? Wow. Okay. You guys are no longer wondering whether I'm completely clueless or not. But just really sloppy flying, really sloppy thinking. It wasn't an instrument approach, but you know, I flew an approach. It wasn't an instrument conditions, but that type of performance is just mental. Why is it? Oh, pitch hold because you got into pitch hold because you overdid the speed. That's why. You know, this whole thing is just not really improving today, to be honest with you. You know, it wasn't, now we're probably 25 north now. Robinson traffic, Caribbean 213, 25 miles to the north, inbound runway 11, Robinson. If you remember, I was too low on the approach, and it's because I just wasn't paying attention. If you see this right here, distance to threshold, altitude, so 5 miles 1680, 4 miles 1360, 3 miles 1040. It's very standard stuff. And I just wasn't paying attention. There's no other way to put it. And the chart for the approach I flew yesterday had the same information on it. I just wasn't looking at it. I just was not looking at it. And so, you know, you got to be awake up here. All right, seatbelts and landing lights are on. Altimeter's 5500 is the change. It's 1011. So we'll wait and make that change here once we get. One of the things I like about the Boeing that I don't like about this system is you can't preset your, unless I just don't know how to do it, you can't preset your altimeter setting and then just hit a button to switch it. Robinson traffic, Caribbean 213 is turning a 10-mile left base, runway 11, Robinson. So 2300 now. Much like the Garmin system, this will give you that info. And I'll put in a first degree of flaps. Cabin altitude checked. So NOTEL is a 5-mile final, intercept is a 1700. What do you think those two things are telling you? It's, you know, and I just wasn't awake yesterday. And I don't want to blame it on not being awake. I was sloppy, I was imprecise. I did not fly the airplane with the quality that I would expect from myself. Which is fine in a lot of ways, because I'd rather do it in this airplane than in a real airplane, you know, so. So, you know, in a lot of ways, what it is an over-reliance on technology. And what I mean by that is Robinson, traffic Caribbean 213, turning a 10-mile final, runway 11, Robinson. What I mean by that is, let's dial this down to 1700, is that, you know, a good instrument pilot has backups for his backups or her backups. You know, you're not relying on one piece of technology. You're not relying on one instrument. You're not relying on one piece of information to keep you 30 side down. Right? You know, I've got this info. So instead of sitting there staring at this with fascination, you know, these two lovely magenta indicators, why don't you, you know, be aware of these distance and altitude expectations. They're not restrictions. This is, you know, 1700 at NOTEL. Robinson, traffic Caribbean 213, 7-mile final, runway 11, Robinson. You know, going flaps full, gear down. You know, cabin crew, gear down, flaps, power management. Too low speed. Keep an eye on the, speaking of speed, keep an eye on that. And we're going to disable the autopilot. Too low speed, icing AOA, exterior lights, we're good to go. You know, so just use all the tools available to you. Rather than relying on, you know, all these you know, these lovely things, and they're useful, they're good, and you should use those. But don't become fascinated with them to the point that you're not flying the airplane. So at 4 nautical miles, see if you can see, you've got a right hand side. So at 4 nautical miles, we want to be at 1,360 feet, which we're going to be pretty close, might be a little bit low. At 3 miles, we want about 1,000, and a good rough estimate, like, of your of your altitude is about 300 feet per mile or so. Definitely have a bit of a right crosswind. So 1,000 feet, we're inside 3 miles, that's fine. Um, 2 miles, we're gonna want 720 feet. And the thing is, the pappies are not always coincident with the glide slope, so that's the other thing to remember. See, it's showing me 4-way right now. 2 miles, 760 feet. I'm right on it. Robinson traffic, Caribbean 213, short final, runway 11, Robinson. At least I should be.
$500.
This looks like a very steep approach to me.
Approaching minimum.
It is a very steep approach, so...
Minimum. 200.
Yeah, it's showing, see how it said 0.7 miles when we crossed the threshold, so we're actually...
100.
Alright.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
So it's actually showing me right now at 0.1 miles, so I don't know, either the GPS data is off. No, it's showing me now 0.2, so it's showing me just past. So really, I think what happened there is that, let's see, how long is this runway? This runway is about 9,000 feet, so that's about 2 miles, right? So basically what this Robinson traffic, Caribbean 213, back taxiing runway 11 Robinson. So really what it did was the GPS distance to what I assumed was the threshold was actually being measured by, oh, do you know what? Guys, we learn something every day. We learn something every day. And this is why mistakes are almost perfect in their own way, because so, you know, I mean, you're literally watching me learn in real time. So, see what I'm passing right now? ARP, airport reference point right there. See that? How many times have you guys heard me talk about that in my videos? You know, spouting off what a genius I am, that's the airport reference point and what it means and blah blah blah. That's where its GPS location is per the systems that we use. Well, guess what? Guess what I just learned? So what I was gonna say was, my guess is that the GPS distance that it was giving me here was to the midpoint of the runway, which is give or take 1 mile longer than the actual. Well, yeah, and be about 4,500 feet, so it'd be about 80% or so of the distance of the runway. So I was actually closer in on the approach than I thought I was, which is why I wound up so high, because I was basically 0.8 of a mile closer than I thought I was. So I'm flapping my gums talking about 4 miles, 1,360 feet, etc. You know, what a genius I am. Well, guess what? I just went past my parking space. it was giving me 13. It was giving me the distance to the airport reference point. That's what it was doing, not the runway threshold. Not the runway threshold as I thought it was. So, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, I got away with that because I'm in VMC, you know, and you want to trust your eyeballs, right? And it looked high the whole time. You know, it didn't look real high until I got to about, you know, 3 miles, and certainly at 2 miles, it was like, okay, that's definitely high. Oops, I'm going to put the wheel chocks on. Shut the number 1 engine down. Bring this number 2 engine back. Get the prop brake ready. Turn the prop brake on. Turn that off. And so now I know that that this is giving me a distance to the airport reference point, which in this case is halfway down the runway. So I need to take that into account when I'm looking at this distance, because this is, see what this is? This is distance to threshold. Very important piece of information. Distance to threshold. So, alright, because the ACARS doesn't recognize hotel mode, I have to shut my engine down. So, the long and the short of it is, I'm not as smart as I think I am, and we all just learned something. Because, you know, I want to be precise, and I want to be on the ball. And, you know, you might think to yourself, well, geez, this guy's a pretty crappy pilot, given the fact that he's instrument rated in real life, but flying a Piper Cherokee is a different ballgame, obviously. You know, than flying an airplane like this. But it just goes to show how important it is to understand understand all of the indications that you're getting in the cockpit, understand what everything is telling you. Because a half a mile might make a difference. You know, if you're an IMC and you did what I just did, you'd be going missed, you know? So, little by little, step by step, we are getting better. We are getting better. And next flight, I'm going to talk a little bit about Volanta is a new system I've been using, and it's got some cool stuff, and if you guys aren't using it, you should be. So I hope you guys are doing well, and we will talk again soon.